Welcome to my annual road trip, this time with an Alfa 147, and this is the last part of the series. On episode 2, I finally entered the UK, discovered some interesting places, and went to Festival of the Exceptional. Now, it's time to work our way down the country, and then finally go home. Hello, hello! You find me in the right lane on the M56, I think, which goes to North Wales. I've already visited Liverpool, I mean, a little. We had to be really selective. And now we're heading to Conwy, so that we see if we can visit the Conwy Castle. As for the Alfa, the miles or the kilometers, should I say, keep on piling up. We're already on almost 3,000 kilometers, and we've been driving for more than 40 hours since leaving Portugal. Something odd happened with the air conditioning when I started the car, because it was showing it as on here, but it was blowing hot air. I immediately thought that the compressor had packed up, or that we had a leak, but then I restarted it, just like you do on Windows, and it worked. I don't know if it's something to do with the electronics in this, if there's really an issue with the compressor, for example with the clutch, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because the car was stopped. That's lovely. We spent the night in Llandudno, and the next day we got up early to start exploring a bit of Wales. We're already making our way down Wales. We left Llandudno, not sure you pronounce it that way, this morning, and we already went to that place with a really big name I'm going to show you now. Just to take a picture, really. There's nothing particularly special about it in the context of Wales, I think. Now we're headed to Bedgillett, I think that's how you say it, don't know. Just a cool tale with a dog, a baby and a father. And a nice view from the bridge. Had to add a little bit of oil again, but that's to be expected, just a little, so that it's always on max, or as frequently on max as possible. And apart from that, yeah, we finally dropped from 7 liters per 100 kilometers, so this is high 30s, it was MPG, I believe. And yeah, I'm looking forward to find some interesting roads today. As we started to go inwards, the road started getting twistier and narrower. And we're off again. This is the cute little bridge in Bedgillett. Cute and narrow. That should be fine. It's a pretty little village. And after that thorough analysis of the village, you can now absorb the road again. Loving the trees. Portmeirion is the child of an architect, I think, that really liked Italian villages. So he bought some land and he tried to replicate what you would find in a typical Italian village, but in Wales, which is an interesting concept. I think at some point the maintenance of all that was getting a bit too much because that was private at the time. So he decided to start allowing visitors, if they paid the ticket price, of course. This is probably a very basic version of the story, but that's the main thing that you need to know. It's that this is sort of like an Italian village, but in Wales, which is appealing. What is not appealing is this. Oh Now that's interesting. Now that we were leaving, the car was scorching hot. It's an amazing day, really. Yesterday was a great day. Today again, the AC didn't want to turn on. Actually, it was showing us on here that it wasn't sending fresh air. I stopped the car a couple miles back, and then I clicked on and off, and it wasn't coming on until I finally heard the compressor engaging. Yeah, it's working for now. We'll see if it's still working tomorrow. If it's not, we're gonna have a bad time when going back to Portugal. Spain is gonna be really hot. Going farther from the coast, we're actually headed to Lake Virnui. I think that's how you say it. That's annoying. This is pleasing. First actual bit of road that is kind of engaging, although you really can't go that fast. Too exciting here, but the landscape is great. I mean, just look at it. Now this is the perfect time to do a 0-80 or something like that. That's it, because I don't want to do that thing where the car jumps, you know? Yes, there is a place here where I could park. And we have arrived to the North Clinic, whatever, car park. It's really hot, as you can see. Fuel consumption has actually gone down a little, but for most of the day it was higher because, you know, B roads, Welsh roads in general. Oh, it went up a little because we are stopped with the engine idling. But yeah. Oh, nice Subaru. Should I say nice Scooby? And average speed is also lower. Also been driven for a long time now. A couple hours later. We are leaving to Cardigan from Aberystwyth. Just went to Morrison's to grab something to drink and fill up the tank again. Last time I think it was around Cambridge. It's been a long trek since that. Going down to Aberystwyth and then up there's a very big hill. I think it's a cardigan is lovely. Seal of approval. Swoops, goes up and down. There's some corners. It's not the most exciting, and the corners are kind of open. You can carry some speed, but at the same time you have the speed limit, so you can have some fun. Not too much. I always find these signs fascinating because we don't have them in Portugal, and we should, because we actually have places with a lot of elderly people. But here it seems to make a special distinction. So that's nice. In the end, I already know that we're gonna do around 7 liters per kilometers in the entirety of the trip. I don't think it will be easy for the car to do any less, or for me, because that would mean being really careful with my driving, and I'm not being really careful with my driving, and that's the key thing. You already have the stress of finding out where you are going, looking at the traffic in the place you don't know. I'm driving in the, I would say, on the wrong side of the road, but for you it's the right side. It's just not the time to think about fuel consumption that much. And given all that, I think the Alfa is doing very well. It's a 20-year-old car with almost 200,000 kilometers on the clock. I didn't even change things such as the spark plugs before this trip, and I don't know how they are. Yeah, I only did the timing belt and of course a basic service with air filter and all that. But yeah, it's working really well. More traffic. Whee. Yes, work hard, Alfa. Wow, amazing! You just reached 70 kilometers an hour. Now that's a nice car park. Time to check in at the hotel in Cardigan. You think that with that sort of distance people will be careful with their cars, right? Well, look at this door. Think about the angle it would open to. And now look at this. Could be a match. The only reason this doesn't annoy me more is that this car is far from perfect on the outside, and I had already in mind replacing the door handles because they are not that expensive and I can still find new ones. But yeah, people really are not careful. The car is not even that close, I mean, and it's a 5-door 107, so unless you are fat, which granted that person could be, just be careful, you know. And we're off to a great start. Sure, there was another bit that was under construction, but things have improved. And this A478, I'm not sure if that's the number, is also a relatively nice road. That's not what's happening at the moment, because we have a truck in front of us, but I've read something a while ago about what different nationalities have been able to accomplish, make their cars accomplish rather. Things such as the Japanese making their cars reliable, the German making the cars robust, and the Italians, they were able to make cars sing and dance. Well, there's some singing here at times. It's a rather good sounding 4-cylinder engine, the twin spark. Regarding the dancing, yeah, the car feels relatively at home when things start to get a bit twisty. The steering is really sharp, the car responds well. This one could be a bit better. I feel some looseness at the front and some stiffness and lack of control at the same time at the back, and that's probably because of the dampers that are not particularly new, and some bushings that probably need to be replaced. I mean, when do bushings not need to be replaced in a 156 or 147? Certainly not dancing around here because the limit just dropped to 20 miles an hour. was just that little section of road that was entertaining. It's a pleasure to travel here in Wales, especially this southern part, because everything's so tidy and the houses, not that you are seeing many now. Well, we're entering now this village, so maybe I can show you. They're all really clean, you know. Well, it seems 10V is trending. It's a nice day, actually. We are just leaving though. We're going to come out and we had some issues getting the AC to turn on again. And again, I managed to do that when I started the engine as we were leaving. And then I was able to have the compressor engaged. But yeah, clearly there's something that's not quite right. That's a rare dual carriageway in Wales. And we're already doing 60 miles an hour, but hard work for this car in 5th gear. Go Alfa, go! Yeah, it's good now. Back to normality though. What are you doing, man? This guy really is in a hurry. Just a while back, as the lane was coming to an end, he really had to pass me and brake hard before that fun. And we're here. We are currently waiting for a truck to move out of the way, so that we can actually do more than 60 miles an hour on a 70. Right, this is us. Another uneventful trip with a lot of miles on the M4, which was actually flowing very nicely after a while. And the highlight of Cardiff was clearly this Omega Caravan 2.5 V6. Hello! You joined me in the M4 because we have left Cardiff 15 or 20 minutes ago. Yeah, there won't be much more to say really. It's a boring trip on the M4 in principle. I've put a bit more oil in it in the morning. The clutch creak is still there. I don't know if the air conditioning is still playing tricks, because there's still no need for it. Well, it seems we're gonna have to pay to go on the Clifton Bridge. It's very weird to have the passenger actually do the paying. Okay, great. Here's a lovely sounding Golf near one of Banksy's works, or a nuclear Mark II. Lost one of the lights. We're already arriving to Bath, but actually this took a while. I mean, I think it's just 20 miles from Bristol to Bath. But it was around 40 minutes or more. It's really slow. And it's one of those days that it's not pleasant to walk around. It's really hot. I wasn't expecting that much heat. In Bristol it was difficult because Bristol has that area around the Cabot Tower. There's another big park that I don't recall now. Maybe not that big, just a garden. But the rest of it is basically buildings and, you know, roads. That area where I parked the car is under construction, and the stop where we should get out just near the car didn't exist anymore, and we had to walk another 5 or 6 minutes under this heat. But yeah, that's it's a minor complaint. Parking this car in Bristol was another issue because we have been paying with contactless. Of course, if you are from the UK, you know that you can pay with coins or through the app with your cell phone, which is probably linked to Google Pay. I mean, we had a £10 bill in Canterbury that we exchanged, but that's long gone, so we didn't have physical money with us. And these machines don't have contactless. We tried to pay through the app, but it doesn't accept foreign numbers, even if we do have Apple Pay in this case. No, it was Google Pay, because it was with my girlfriend's Android. So yeah, we had to leave the car there and go and withdraw some money and then buy something cheap, some beverage, and then with the coins pay for parking, which is really annoying. It's a shame, there's so much traffic everywhere. The irony is not lost on me that I decided to bring my car over here for this trip. Up. Nice MGZT here in the Sainsbury's of Bath. Now that's a nice bit of road, very nice actually. Going out of Bath in the direction of Castlecombe. Audacity of saying that you can do 50 miles per hour. No, these sunglasses are not to make me cooler. It's really because it was a difficult night, really hot and humid. Anyway, we have left our room in Westbury about 15 minutes ago. We still have 3 hours and 20 minutes to arrive to Dover, where we'll get into the ferry again. We're not stopping anywhere. Sometimes I have to remove the glasses in order to check the board computer, which is a bit ridiculous, because I wanted to see how many miles we have done in total. Careful with the pen. Yeah, 3,778 kilometers. Cool, and it's 9 o'clock now. And it's already 22 degrees. All of a sudden, we have that Jaguar F-Type, I think, convertible. The Vauxhall Corsa VXR and this Mustang. That's a nice combo. Listen to that. The air conditioning is being stupid again. I mean, it's supposedly on, but I don't feel it. Work, it's hot. Please! I'll let you know when it works. As today, it's the 1st of August, and I've been tinkering with the buttons for a while. I think it's official. Our AC subscription is over. Yeah, it was good while it lasted, which was actually 12 days, I think. And the others in Portugal after I recharged the system. Yeah, it's not working. I can't hear the compressor engaging. I would say there's a leak or the compressor is packed up. Not sure. So I just have the sunroof a little bit open and that's it. We're just gonna have to endure. Oh, it's gonna be wonderful in Spain, won't it? that plan their Euro road trips around significant areas such as Stelvio Pass, for example. Well, you know, nice driving roads. I mean, the roads around Snowdonia are probably interesting. I know the NC 500 is supposed to be really good, but in general it seems that roads that are entertaining and don't have a lot of traffic are few and far between around here. And that's not only the UK, and there are places where it's even worse. Never thought I'd say this, but there's actually a boner to our left. And yes, as you can see, we're already grinding to a halt around Gatwick. This is not the M25, I think. It's hard work, really. That's rubbish. Just a small pit stop at a very busy station. And we're almost there. 4,000 kilometers in this trip. The good thing about those restrictions in the motorway and the fact that the AC compressor probably backed up is that the fuel consumption is pretty good today. Just 6.2 liters per kilometers, which is probably in the 40s in terms of MPG. And hello from France. We almost stayed with people traveling on foot until we noticed that there was a lot of people, an awful lot with bags. But thankfully we made it in time to the car before we actually had to leave, before it was our turn. We're on the Route Nationale and we're headed to Saint-Omer, which is a 40-minute trip, and that's where we'll stay the night. Dieu merci. Wow, that's a 750 IL. Wow. Today we're doing this the old school way. We're on the Route Nationale from Saint-Omer to Le Mans. And to make things worse, I've had to find a slight detour around Rouen because I forgot to book the authorization for the low emission zone this time. I did it when we went up north, but I forgot it now. Whoops, that's a 50. So it's gonna be more than 5 hours of driving. I think on map said something like 5:40. Another trip and another time that we've been stopped by the French police. Nothing major anyway. It was the usual stop to check for, you know, drugs and things that we haven't declared to customs, which we have none. Are we about to enter a motorway? Lovely, we are. Power! Because now it smells like the byproduct of, well, what cows eat. The wind is strong, and there was a guy that just jumped in front of me in order to overtake a lorry at 110 kilometers an hour, and I had to follow him for like 2 kilometers because then there were 2 or 3 other lorries, while I wanted to do 130, which is the limit. If you're going 20 kilometers an hour under the speed limit, you wait. Apart from that, we're finally making good progress. bad. That's a nice avenue. And after that chaotic sequence of events, we arrived in the lovely city of Le Mans. Hello! We are now leaving Le Mans, and today's destination is Bayonne. We'll do more than 600 kilometers even then, and it's almost 8 hours driving. This and tomorrow are the worst days in this trip in terms of mileage and time. We left at 9, we've already filled the tank. I'm supposed to fill the tank again at the border because petrol in Spain is cheaper, even if we'll probably not use the entire tank to get to Portugal. And yeah, that's about it. It was funny trying to fill up the tank because there were only 2 pumps at the station. One of them, there was this old man that was not able to make his card work. I mean, I was feeling a bit sorry for him. And then he was sort of stressed and leaving without really putting the fuel cap on, so he wasn't able to close the little fuel door. And the other guy, he probably didn't want to wait for the old man, so he parked this huge Q7, was it a Q7? I'm not sure, on the other side, but it was on the wrong side to actually put fuel in that, and he had to pass the hose over the car. It was an interesting scene. It was a bit surreal. In the meantime, we are still traversing some villages, small villages in the outskirts of Le Mans. We are currently in the route of the Lude. We are bored. This is gonna be a good time to test the cup holders. This is empty, by the way. Yeah, I think that works. So we can safely conclude that the cup holder in the 147 is better than the cup holder in the BMW 39. The fact that today we're not doing motorway work, at least so far, means that fuel consumption is particularly low. 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers. That still didn't drop the total average. Oh, it did. It's now 6.9. Great. After 2 hours of driving, I've decided to let my co-pilot drive for another 2 hours because it's a long stretch today. And she's already discovered the magic of cruise control, which she never used before. The weather is taking a turn, which, since we are in the car, doesn't really annoy me. It's me again. We're just after Poitiers, and we're now on a national route, which I don't know the number because I'm not looking at Google Maps, in which we only have to do 194 kilometers in a straight line. Now it's 110. Cool. And because it's the beginning of August and everyone's going on vacation or coming back, yeah, there's a bit of traffic. If you want to know what to avoid, I'll tell you. It's the A10 near Bordeaux, direction of the south of France, in early August. That is, if you can avoid it. Finally got rid of the traffic, but unfortunately we'll have to leave the motorway in 2 miles. I mean, not even 2 miles, less than that, 2 kilometers. It's a shame because we're doing 130. It's really hot. There's just slightly cool breeze is coming through the air vents. Could be worse, but the air conditioning is badly missed. I had ideas of maybe if I could find the right seats in leather, so leather seats, replacing this. But to be fair, especially without the air conditioning, those would be hell today. And these are in good shape, and they are really comfortable. These seats have something that the Rover doesn't, which is some bolsters here, which help keep your body in place. Pretty good if you want to get a bit more spirited. We didn't have many chances to do that in this trip, but if you want to get a bit more of a hoon on and you don't want your passenger to suffer too much. And I think they're also a bit better down here in your back. They are more supportive, and that helps in this sort of trip. And we are now on the motorway, a bit of A63, which is the same one we used going up north. I am very upset because I've just realized that a couple miles ago, don't know exactly when, I lost all of the information on the board computer. Anyway, 70 kilometers to go, we're almost out of the motorway. And we have arrived. Nothing exciting happened, so bye. We're off to an early start today. That's the best way to drive when there is no traffic. And that's our classic descent from Bayonne in the direction of the border with Spain. Hopefully this was the last tank before getting to Portugal. It should be good for around 700 kilometers, and I think we need to do still around 600, 650. Basque Country is something else. Look at these corners in the middle of the main road. That's bold. The Alfa is feeling sluggish because this is one hell of a hill. I think we're done. Dear viewers from the UK, I might owe you an apology because I remembered the motorway here in Spain being better. Yeah, when I said I wanted fresh weather, I didn't mean that fresh. Remind me to avoid going on holidays in late July and early August. Just kidding. Nothing as being a passenger princess to start noticing odd noises that shouldn't be there. There is a bit of hissing coming here from I think this triangle area. I might need to do something about that in the future. It's not horrible, but it's very localized. We had a good run, but it's now 12 o'clock in Spain and it's really hot, and even the air going through the vents hot. So yeah, we're just gonna have to sweat it, literally. The Alfa has played us, and in a good way, I guess. After a while, I stopped trying to actually turn the AC on. For some reason it decided to turn on its own, and fresh air was coming. Ventilation was all low, so there was a slight breeze, but yeah, I cranked it on at maximum speed, and we have cold air. So the compressor is still working. We definitely still have gas in the circuit. We're sweating for the last 2 hours at 2030 for no reason, and I don't understand what's wrong here. I maintain that it might be the AC clutch, because again it turned on when the car was stopped. I don't know. I have to read about this and see if there is some sort of electronic issue. And after a long 2 weeks on the road, the Alfa eventually made it home with no other issues. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next adventure.